Look, this is a celebration week. It's NVIDIA week. The conference that they're having has often been a reset, I'd say an anchor reset of what people should be looking for. We've really just been talking about China for a very long time. Let's talk about what NVIDIA's got and whether China's actually positive, because I think that it's been viewed as negative for ever since DeepSeek Monday, whatever. David, what's really going on out here, I think, is that everybody wants to talk about AI, whether it be Papa John's, who I'm talking to, whether it be Block, whether it be Snowflake. I've got ARM Holdings, I've got Dell, I've got Cisco. But then we get to Home Depot. I hope they actually want to talk about the planning season. And then we have Wynn, which I hope they want to talk about China and gambling. So it's a full week. Trying to get the temperature of the place and what's really going on out here. And I got to tell you, David, I always feel you have to get out of New York to find out what people are talking about. And I can't wait to talk to these people because I don't even know what they're going to say.
Yeah, I know. And listen, you're going to get a lot of important insights, I think, in terms of AI. My guess is you're going to get an even better sense, Jim, as to how quickly the technology continues to advance and how there is no let-up in terms of potential spend. That would be my guess. Obviously, you're also going to have an important guest as well, I believe, on Wednesday. That would be Mr. Wang himself, correct?
Yeah, look, I think that I want to go to the old days when he's a visionary and not when he just plays defense against whatever administration is talking about China and the rivalry with China. I mean, I think those are all inside baseball. David, those are spring training. We got to go back to the World Series of thought that I always thought Jensen played at. And what I look forward to is actually talking to him about what he thinks in the next 20 years, because he views things in a 20-year time frame. Most of us view things about, I don't know, between here and the next commercial.
NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang recently came out to prepare NVIDIA holders for the most important date in NVIDIA's history, something that will shock every holder and investor in the market. Is this the comeback spark for NVIDIA's fluctuating shares? What will be revealed? How can Jensen save the company's stock? Only one way to answer all of this. Welcome back, everyone, to Investocracy.
Oh, I mean, it's not going to be 20 years before we get to so-called AGI, Jim. I am curious for you to start to query a lot of the people you meet out there. And again, the definition of what that really means, artificial general intelligence. But, I mean, any number of different columns of late dealing with the fact that we are getting closer and closer and moving ever faster towards that.
Well, it's so biased.
And after that, I don't even know what comes. Like, once you get past that, which could be within, who knows, a year, 2 years, 3 years, depends who you talk to. I don't know what 15 years after that looks like.
No, I know, and I think that what we're really trying to figure out is how much is thinking, how much is Grok thinking, what kind of memory does ChatGPT have? Can we twist and turn their answers by asking the wrong questions? And I think how to query any one of these sites is what's going to really matter. And I think that a lot of us don't know how to query them correctly. I think Jensen can really explain to us how we're supposed to ask, because I think sometimes we ask and we get fifth grade answers, and sometimes we ask and we get graduate school answers.
Yeah, although, as you well know, it's going to be sort of in the enterprise, the agentics world that we're all entering into, the ability to do so many different things and create so much efficiency. How many coders are going to be replaced? The broader implications.
Famed analyst Ming-Chi Kuo has thrown down the gauntlet. NVIDIA's upcoming GTC 2025 conference could mark a significant upswing, or the tech titan might be left holding an empty sword. Cast your gaze to NVIDIA's centerpiece, the B300 AI chip. Promising a staggering 50% performance enhancement over its predecessor, the B200, it's poised to be the showstopper at GTC 2025. But before going on with the video, are you into cryptocurrency? If so, check out our second channel, Investocracy Crypto. We bring you breaking news, expert analysis, and the latest trends in the fast-moving world of digital assets. Whether you're a seasoned crypto investor or just curious about the future of finance, we've got something for you. Click the link in the description to subscribe to Investocracy Crypto now. Don't miss out and stay ahead of the game. Now, let's get back to the video.
But the AI chip leader will have a chance to shine this week as it kicks off its annual GTC Developers Conference today with CEO Jensen Huang giving the keynote tomorrow. Analysts expect him to showcase a revved-up version of the new Blackwell chip and are hoping to hear more about the next generation chip called Rubin. Let's bring in Jordan Klein, tech, media, and telecom sector specialist and desk-based analyst at Mizuho. Jordan, I read your note every morning, so I know you've been getting ready for this big GTC Developers Conference. What's the number one thing you want to hear from Jensen Huang?
Well, it's a great question, Seema, and thanks for having me. I don't know if there's one number one key thing that everyone wants him to say. I think you previewed it well. It's going to be all about the new products. Some of the things that I think people would want to hear is probably something he's not going to talk about, and that's more the macro, China restrictions, specific spending levels by, their big cloud hyperscalers. Those are just things they don't really talk about. They do have a meeting with investors, I think on Wednesday, middle of the day, where the CFO and Jensen will address Wall Street analysts. That I think will actually be pretty important. But as you said, all the focus is going to be on the new products, when they come out. Maybe if he can address the ability to get these products to the customers at a more expedited pace. That is something I think a lot of people are worried about, because ultimately what's going to drive the stock is the ability to upside numbers and revise or guide higher. And to do that, they have more demand than supply. They just can't get the product to the customer fast enough.
So if he does detail supply issues once again, but says that demand is remaining very strong for not just Blackwell, but then the next iteration, which is Rubin, how do you think the market responds?
Well, I think he's gonna probably talk specifically to, we've got tons of demand. The demand I think he's going to address more specifically that's broadening beyond just the core customers they have now. I think a lot of people are very interested to hear, are you getting demand from the sovereign side, these large multinational, governments, that sort of thing. But I do think he's going to probably address, to the extent their ability to improve some of these challenges they faced in the supply chain. I know the CFO on the earnings call spent time saying, we're working very closely with all of our suppliers. They're doing a great job. So I ultimately think that the expectation is a lot lower this year into GTC than it was in the past years. But that doesn't mean it's super low and the bar is low. I think they still have a lot they have to say. But I do think the setup is a little bit, people aren't expecting some, big move higher in the stock. So maybe you get a little bit more surprise on that fact alone.
NVIDIA is bound to present the best case for its stock to rebound after regaining the investors' trust. You don't need me to tell you that it wasn't supposed to lose them in the first place, but the market is as volatile as ever. But before going any further, if you made it this far into the video, thank you. These videos take a lot of effort and time to make, so if you enjoyed them, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. This goes a long way in helping us grow. That said, back to the video.
I know you don't expect him to touch on export controls, but given that there's this big question mark around China, especially in light of DeepSeek revelations, the Chinese in general being able to build a cheaper, more cost-effective AI model, how do you think he addresses that, either directly or indirectly?
That's another great question. I think so far, a lot of companies that are, on their earnings calls are getting this question from investors. And the definitive, clear answer, and I think this is what you'll hear from NVIDIA, is that the DeepSeek and this innovation out of China and other methods to train faster and less expensive, that's going to basically, he's going to say that's driving more potential consumption and demand, that's a positive. I still think this conference and what they say is going to be all about their performance lead over everyone else out there in the semi-training and inference world. And I think that is important, that they sustain this large lead on performance. But I do think he's going to say the market is going to basically get larger and bigger because of this DeepSeek innovation. And I actually believe that's probably the case.
As the clock ticks closer to GTC 2025, NVIDIA stands at the precipice of a grand revival, a herald for potential investors willing to seize the moment. The present landscape sees its stock swaying like a ship on stormy seas, Yet whispers of innovation are its beacon to calmer waters and potentially burgeoning markets. But what do you think? Share your thoughts. Finally, if you would like to know what companies like NVIDIA have been up to these past few days, go ahead and click on the next video on your screen. See you there.